All right, folks, welcome to another episode. My name is Michael Huggins, coming to you live from Tennessee. This is another edition of our Zoom Up. It's our meetup on Zoom. And the idea behind these is to bring you stories of transformation around our real estate investing community and the possibilities that are out in front of you when it comes to business and community and growth and what your real potential is. I came from a background of auto mechanics before I got into this community and this program and this process. I was working for 11 bucks an hour changing oil. I hated it. I was behind on my bills, behind on my promises, and had empty pockets and an empty fridge. It was bad. I hated it. But I was a hard worker. And so by being introduced to this process, I learned how to do real estate in within 9 months of going from 2 jobs, no car, a 500 credit score, living in my girlfriend's mom's basement, to doing my first deal, replacing that yearly income in one deal, and then starting to pay off debts and transform my life. It has been amazing. That was 10 years ago. Now I control 265 acres. We're building up a short-term rental cabin resort out here in Tennessee. We're pursuing our life's passion. I've been able to do so much in between that time that I'm incredibly grateful. And I decided to create this show to bring more stories of transformation to you, to inspire you to get off your butt, chase your dreams, face your fears, whatever it is, and link arms with us so you can start getting the benefits that we're currently getting from real estate. And real quick, just putting that out there, real estate has its own risks, as you're going to hear throughout these stories. But today's guest, he's actually on location. He's looking at another deal right now. I just called him out the blue and said, hey, man, I've been hearing you're doing some great things. Will you come out and share your story of transformation with our group here? And so after today's episode, you're going to want to get back with the person that invited you here to come to an intro, to come to a house tour, or to come to a workshop that we're hosting so you can really see in depth how this process works and how we can take you from where you're at to where you want to go through a series of exercises. So if you're willing to work, we'll work with you. So with that being said, I'm really excited about today's story. The guy's full of passion, and he turns that passion into productivity. And we know a lot of people who are passionate but not productive. Well, this guy is a great example of how to be productive. And so I'm going to have him come out and share, where he came from, why he was even looking at real estate or a community, what change he was looking for, and what's happened since. So everyone help me welcome to the stage, Mr. Jeremy Farrell.
Thanks, man. That's very kind words. I'm very fortunate to be where I am today. I started out this whole journey, and I'd been in the restaurant industry for years. I was a struggling artist trying to figure out, okay, I gotta keep my creative side going to feed my soul, but I also gotta keep the money on the coming in to feed my belly. And I was like, I gotta do both. And it was frequently I do a show, and then it'd be great, and then the work would dry up, so I had to go and get another job at a restaurant or something. But I was never king of my time, and that was the thing that was my biggest issue, is I couldn't go where I wanted to when I wanted to be there. And now I get a chance to create partnerships, I get a chance to create agreements, I get a chance to not have my time at the effect of somebody else. And I've gotten a chance to not just learn about the real estate, but how to help other people in real estate. And I've worked with a lot of other artists, and the conversation is not just like, what can we do creatively, but how can we take those creative dollars and then reinvest them in a way that's going to give us long-term revenue, so that we produce a song, or we get an album out, or we produce a play, or some type of, now a webinar that somebody wants to come in, and we get revenue coming in from that. Now we can take those revenue dollars and put them into real estate to create long-term generational legacy. And I just love that, man. It was never an opportunity for me before. I'd tried to do real estate before. When my early 20s, I got my real estate license. I didn't know anything about what it took to actually be a successful investor. Today, this property here, you can see there's a lot of trees, a lot of big trees, and a lot of just unsightly trees. And as I'm looking at this property, I'm thinking, okay, it's not just acquiring the property. It's not just the internal rehab. It's not just the external rehab. But what is it going to take to clean up the outside? What's it going to take to clear these trees out? And before, when I was looking at real estate, all the classes, the different things that I went to, they were all saying, hey, look, you go learn about the property and get a assessment on the property. I never, until I got into this community, even considered the other ideas, not just the inside of the experience, but what did the actual tree costs for? And I've met in a numerous amount of investors in the community that are like, hey, yeah, that makes sense now. And I love working together with people. I don't have to do this on my own. I get a chance to do it with other people. And I got to say, one of my favorite, you look at something like this, and you're thinking, okay, it's it looks like a little shed. What's it going to be? But in this community, and can you hear me? My phone just went a little crazy. Can you still hear me?
Okay. Yeah, you're good.
Okay, good. So in this community, there's a lot of little shops, and it's on the outside of a place that's growing, and there's getting ready to be a huge movement of people coming into this area. This little property can turn into something that could be 2 or 3 shops. It could be a commercial property. It could be switched and be, mixed use property. There's so many things that we can do here. But right now, it's an opportunity to look at it, to assess it and see what's next.
So how
But
did you get to a point where this was even a thing for you? Because you were living your passion, you were writing the plays, you were doing the performances.
well, I there was a time I was told to come back to work, and I realized I didn't. It was a very specific day, and I don't want to get into all the details. But I said I want to be in charge of my time. And I'd called 2 or 3 people who were successful real estate investors. I said, hey man, will you teach me? Will you coach me? And they recommended a book, or they recommended I go do this, or they said, hey, I could go look for deals for them. But nobody said I'll teach you. And then somebody said, hey, look, have you talked to your friend who posts that stuff on Facebook about the type of real estate deals he's doing? And I said, well, sure, I'll give him a call. So I called him up, and about the time he said, I can't teach you anything, I was about to hang up the phone. He said, but I can introduce you to my mentor. And it was the first time somebody actually said, I can introduce you to my mentor, and they meant it. And within 30 minutes, I was on the phone with somebody who had been helping him with deals, and I knew I was not alone. I was like, okay, I can have somebody teach me. He said, go take these classes. I took those classes. He said, go do this thing. I did that thing. And that has made the difference, because I actually got in an environment where I could follow direction. I mean, shoot, I'm an actor. It's my job. I follow direction. When I'm producing something, I'm working with people to create teams and teamwork, to have people working together to create an outcome. And I love this. I get a chance to be with people who utilize real estate as a way to fulfill their dreams in a way that I never thought possible. And we can create amazing works of art in our real estate. We don't have to just, create a pretty house. I was talking to somebody earlier. We're going to talking about putting murals inside of a short-term rental, so that we can support the local kids who want to do art, who don't have a school to go to, but they can put murals inside the art. And then we can make short-term rentals that actually people know that when they go to that house, they're supporting the local kids in that community. They're supporting local artists in that community. And, nowhere else were they even having a conversation where we would brainstorm and create ideas that had people get in touch with their passion, and have their passion be able to be expanded on, but through real estate. So, I mean, I don't want to go on too much more, but does that answer your question, man? I could go on forever, but I just want to make sure I've answered your question.
Yeah, definitely. So tell us about your first deal then. You were looking, people kept saying go to books, you finally got introduced to our community. Tell us about your first deal.
First deal with the community. I was sitting in a situation and I was invited to come in to be part of what we called a I can't even remember the name of it, but it was a situation where a whole bunch of people were working on the idea of, would this property work? Would this investment work? And we found everything about it. Everybody asked their questions, and they said, yep, this is a go. This makes sense. And the question was, okay, who's got money? And I'm like, wait a second, I just taken my short-term, my self-directed IRA class. I'm like, I've got access. I know somebody who has access to self-directed IRA money. And I said, okay. So I went and had a conversation with them. We were able to take that money that was making about 8% and put that into this property. And during that time, that investment that we had that money in went down like to 3%. But while it was in that property, that self-directed retirement grew 12%. So we had a huge return based on what we would have had. And somebody else in the community did the work. We provided the self-directed money, and it came back to us, and it was like, wait a second. We didn't have to do this on our own. We didn't have to swing hammers. We didn't have to do anything. We got a chance to be part of a community and part of a transaction. And the money that we put into the project was actually secured by the project, by the real estate.
So yeah, let me emphasize something because I think maybe some people might have missed it. The money was you had a real estate project. The money was in a retirement account in the stock market where it's incredibly volatile. Things are going up
Hmm.
and down. And before it all dropped, you pulled the money out and put it into real estate. And if you had left it in there, it would have all gone down. Is that what I'm
Yeah,
understanding?
yeah, we would have lost another. We would have lost 5% of that money. But as a result of doing the deal the way we did, instead of being even at where we were, we ended up making like 17% over what we would have made otherwise. You
Nice.
know, and that's over less than a 6-month period. 17% times two, if you consider it an annual investment, that's not too bad. I don't know anywhere else other than real estate that I can get that kind of return that's accessible to somebody who's not playing the stock market every day, not, jumping in digital currency and all that stuff. It's available that I can do it and I can keep doing the things that I love in life.
Right. Because how much time did it take to accomplish that deal? Like the
Uh,
time wise on a clock, how many?
how many actual hours did I work on it?
Yeah.
Shoot, I'm embarrassed to say, man, it's like under 10. Like actual investment hours of research, due diligence, doing the paperwork, talking to the people, having the conversations. But because once I knew what to say and the questions to ask, I could get a yes or a no. I could get a do it this way, do it that way. And it gave me the ability to, help another member of our community. And he's off doing amazing work now. And I get a chance to keep doing what I'm doing.
So the total profit, if I remember correctly, if we count your profit from the fund side and his profit from the operator side, wasn't it something like 60 grand?
Yeah, it was going to be 40 and then it turned to 60. But yeah, it was in that ballpark. And it's you think about what else would we do that would give us that kind of return in that shorter period of time?
Right.
And
While you still had a little one at home.
yeah,
Yeah.
at the time I had a kid under the age of 4, and he's all into everything, and he's 7 now, but he's
Nice.
a great kid, and I'm loving life, and I get a chance to go and do things and be in control of my schedule in a way that I wasn't when I'm having to punch the clock for somebody else, and get a chance to work with other creatives in a way that I hadn't before, which I really love.
Now I heard that you are doing a project with veterans.
Mhm.
Is that something you can share, shed some light on?
I can share a little bit about it. We're and with different practices and policies and changes and things like that. One of the things we've been committed to is really being able to create a housing space for veterans and create it in a sustainable living environment. We've explored everything from container spaces to actual hard construction, a lot of different options. And as we continue to play in this game, the people that are coming out of the woodwork to help are really just they're like, hey, look, I can help here, I can help there. And somebody else says, okay, well, how can we fund that? Okay, well, let's look at how we can do sustainable land practices. And the great thing about being part of this community is that I know that there's so many people that are committed to permaculture. They're committed to being able to have sustainable living be something that the government doesn't tell them what to do, that they're in charge of, that they're saying, hey, I'm the one that wants to put solar panels on my house, I'm the one that wants to do this. And we take that and combine it with the different practices that we have, and we bring those in, and we're in the process of creating a community for homeless veterans to be able to have respectable housing, have access to technology, have access to training, and then have access to live workspace where they can stay inside of a veteran community and get what they need to be able to to go on and move out into the rest of the community if they want to, or stay and help build that community internally and welcome other veterans as they come in in the building process, because it's all about people building people.
Nice.
We're none of us are in this alone.
Wow. So folks, you can probably tell the passion I was talking about, right? So, are you doing anything with the banking classes, paying off debt, things like that? Are you implementing debt acceleration
Actually,
stuff?
honestly, one of my favorites is actually not my story, but a story of somebody that I worked with, and he's a dear friend of mine, and he was in a situation where they um, lost their job and had just put about $30,000 into cars, $30,000 into credit cards, and had about $60,000 in a money market account. But they were like, I got debt, I got this, I got all these things. What do I do now? Because when you lose a job, whether if you lose a job at $40,000 a year, that's one thing. When you lose a job at six figures, that's a different thing. And we started talking, and he used some of the real estate principles to take the money that he was in his money market account where he was making about 8%, take that and pay off the debt that he was losing about 17% with each month, changed his debt to income ratio, and then they were able to get a line of credit on their home, pay off a considerable amount of other debt, and then have $180,000 of line of credit to then go and use for real estate, for for other investments and things like that, and create an emergency fund. And there's things like that. It's like what I can do is great, but what I can help other people do, that's what I really love about this is it's not about me. How can I go help other people? And and I love the people that I get a chance to impact and help and work with. And I think that's the biggest part of it. The velocity banking piece is really watching people that, I talked to somebody the other day at one of the local universities, and he said, "Can you talk to our students?" I said, "I'd be happy to." He's just, "Hey, how can we help people?" Because even if how long is it going to take to have any change from the government in our conversations about student loans? Let's get in charge of our finances. Let's get in charge of our business. Let's get in charge of our real estate. Because whoever's in charge, I'm the one who puts my head on my pillow at night. And the people in my community, we're all working together. So how can we lift each other up and help each other where we can, and really make this place something we're proud of?
Nice. Way cool, man. Way cool. Well, I know you gotta get to your next meeting. Hopefully you're able to lock that property down, and we'll have you come out here in a few months and share some updates with us.
Well, it'll be this one, or it'll be something else. But but either way, man, it's just, the thing is, if this one works, great. If not, there's another house right there. There's another property right there. There's another property right there, and another one right there. There's no shortage of properties. There's no shortage of people. There's just there's plenty of us, plenty of work to go around, man. Plenty of opportunity.
Right. I think the shortage is in creativity and education.
Yeah, if anything, it would be that, because that was the thing that was stopping me, is I didn't know what to do. I had the creativity, but then once I got the tools and the, sort of like, give me the 7 crayons and I can create all kinds of stuff. But now that I got the 7 crayons, now I got those notes, I can, I got friends that are an inspiration to me, because they take words and music and put them together and stir the spirit in a way that they just are amazing. And I get a chance to do that on stage and with film and things like that. But really, like, let's take real estate and have it be the engine that funds everything we want to do, and then stores the wealth that we make creatively, so that we can really be the resource that we want to be for our communities and future generations.
That's right, man. Keep spreading the love, folks. Get your crayons, he says. You get your crayons right here.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate you. I'm gonna get back to taking a look at this property, and I will be back in touch if you need me. You know how to reach me.
All right, man. Appreciate you being here.
Likewise.
Yeah.
Likewise.
All right, folks. So we got to highlight Jeremy. He's got an amazing story of transformation. Doesn't matter what your background is. It matters where you're going and who you're linked up with. So we want you to consider linking arms with us. Your next steps are to get back with the person that got you here and come to an intro. Come and see the function and the process behind how we do what we do. Then come see a house tour. We actually, between me and a couple other community members, we facilitate 200 live, unique house tours every single year. 200. So we're doing between 3 and 4 a week. And so if you really want to see different kinds of real estate that we're doing, come to these property tours. They're on Tuesday nights, Wednesday nights, Saturday nights. And yeah, this stuff is amazing, folks. So get back with the person who invited you here, get that next evolution in your experience with us, and have a strategy session. What obstacles are stopping you? Let's talk about it, because the things that were stopping me, the things that were stopping Jeremy, and all of I've now interviewed 70. We got another episode of 70 people on there. There's no new problems. There's no new problems, right? Whatever you're experiencing, people inside our world have also experienced it, solved it, and then created a path for others to follow. So link arms with us, join us, and let's take this thing seriously. We're taking it to the top, folks. So with that, I'm going to wrap up today's episode, and we will see you on the next one. Have a great day, everyone.